What if the people who raised you suddenly turned on you? I showed up on Thanksgiving with a warm apple pie and left with a broken heart. My father looked me in the eyes and said, "Return the $50,000, or don't come back." No questions. No mercy. Just silence, and a family that decided I was guilty before I could even sit down. But here's the twist. I didn't take a cent. And what I uncovered next? It shook everything. Stick with me, because this story isn't just personal, it's proof that truth cuts deeper than betrayal. Section 1, The Accusation. It started with pie. Not just any pie, my grandmother's recipe. Apple, golden crushed, cinnamon-laced filling, brushed with melted butter. I baked it the night before, packed it carefully, and drove 4 hours through rain and fog to bring it home. Thanksgiving was our thing. Even with everything life throws, we always had that day. Or so I thought. The moment I stepped into the family house in Ashford, Oregon, things felt different. The lights were warm. The fireplace crackled. The smell of roasted turkey lingered in the air. But the warmth wasn't in their eyes. I walked in smiling, holding the pie with both hands, already imagining the grin on Mom's face when she tasted it. But before I could say a word, my father turned from the stove and said, "If you can't return the $50,000 you took from your mother, don't bother coming back." I froze. No hello. No hug. No, how was the drive? Just that. For a split second, I thought he was joking. My dad always had a dry sense of humor, and sometimes it didn't land. So I half laughed and said, "What?" But he didn't flinch. He crossed his arms. His eyes didn't blink. "Natalie," he said, "the money went missing right after you helped Mom set up online banking. We know it was you." The pie trembled in my hands. I placed it carefully on the counter, like I might drop it, and with it, everything I believed about this family. "You're serious?" I asked. "You think I stole from her?" That's when I noticed the silence. My brother, Mason, sat at the table, scrolling his phone, but now his thumbs had stopped moving. My sister-in-law, Deanna, suddenly had too much focus on chopping green beans. And Mom, my sweet, soft-spoken mother, didn't say a word. She wouldn't even look at me. "Mom," I whispered. Still nothing. She dabbed her mouth with a napkin, eyes on her plate, like she was watching someone else's dinner. Someone else's family. It hit me then, this wasn't a conversation. This was a decision they had already made. And I wasn't part of it. I didn't sit down. I didn't fight. What would be the point? They'd chosen their villain. And somehow, it was me. Dad's voice cut through again, low and final. "You have until Friday. After that, we speak to an attorney." So I picked up my coat and left. No goodbye. No explanations. No more pie. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been wrongly accused by someone you love? Not just questioned, but judged, sentenced, and exiled before you even got a chance to speak? Drop a broken heart in the comments if you've ever been in that position. Because sometimes, strangers treat us better than family. But you know what they didn't expect? They forgot who they were dealing with. They thought I'd cry in the car and disappear quietly. But I don't fold under pressure. I investigate it. Stick with me, because what I found next turned this story completely upside down. Magnifying glass tilted left. Section 2, The Investigator Awakens. In Part 1. I was holding a pie, just trying to be a daughter. And they made me a criminal. They didn't just doubt me. They labeled me. Exiled me. All without asking a single question. But what they forgot was that I ask questions for a living. I didn't cry in the motel that night. Didn't scream into a pillow or replay every Thanksgiving past. Instead, I sat on the edge of the bed, still in my coat, and stared at the wall like it owed me answers. I'm a senior forensic fraud investigator. Companies hire me to catch embezzlers, expose cover-ups, and trace money trails most people can't even see. So if they wanted to accuse me of theft, I'd show them what real investigation looks like. The next morning, I was up before the sun. The motel coffee was bitter, the light flickering above the desk was half broken, but I didn't care. I opened my laptop. Mom banked with Green Branch Federal. That name struck a chord. My firm was already looking into suspicious activity tied to that exact bank, cases of elder fraud, staged withdrawals, and, ironically, families stealing from their own. So I sent a message to Jonah, our compliance officer. All I asked for was a simple favor. Give me 3 weeks of transaction history for Patricia Monroe. Ashford, Oregon. I didn't need to explain. Jonah knew I wouldn't ask unless it mattered. And sure enough, within an hour, I had it all. 3 withdrawals. October 10th, $20,000. October 15th, $15,000. October 20th, $15,000. All made in person. Wait. In person. I blinked. They accused me of using Mom's online banking. Said I was the only one with digital access. But these transactions, they weren't online. They were over the counter. Inside the branch. In front of a teller. Now here's where it gets worse. Jonah had also sent me 3 low-res security footage stills from those days. And what I saw made my stomach knot. The first image. A woman in a gray hoodie, sunglasses, nervously biting her lip. At first glance, it could be anyone. But when she leaned in to speak to the teller, pulling down her mask, it was Diana. My sister-in-law. Clear as daylight. The second image. A man in a navy pullover, casually chatting, signing something with a pen he clearly brought from home. Mason. My own brother. The third. Back to Diana again. Same hoodie. Different sunglasses. Same fraud. And in that moment, it all clicked. They had used my help setting up Mom's online account as a smokescreen. They waited until I digitized her records. Then they made the physical withdrawals, while the digital trail pointed at me. It was the perfect trap. And I walked them right to it. But even that wasn't the worst part. Because I still had questions. How did they get Mom's ID? Her PIN? The answers to her security questions. Then I remembered something. 2 weeks before all this started, Mom had a short hospital stay. It was nothing serious, just routine scans. And guess who stayed overnight with her? Diana. And guess who handles all the incoming mail at the house? Mason. They had access to her purse, her checkbook, her bank statements, everything. They didn't just steal. They planned. And I had the receipts to prove it. I printed everything. Transaction records. Teller timestamps. Signature samples. Footage stills. I slid it all into a clean black presentation folder, the kind I usually save for court. This wasn't just about clearing my name anymore. This was about showing them exactly how wrong they were. Speech balloon, let me ask you this. Have you ever had someone go behind your back and make you the villain in their story? Even worse, have they used your kindness as part of their plan? If yes, tell me in the comments. You're not alone. I promise you that. And if this story is hitting a little too close to home, hit that like button, not just for me, but for anyone who's ever had to prove their worth to the people who should have known it all along. But here's the thing. That wasn't the biggest twist. What I found next made my stomach drop. Because they didn't just take the money. They used me to cover their tracks. And once you see what I uncovered next, you'll never look at family the same way again. Section 3, The Confrontation. Previously, I uncovered the truth. They didn't just steal the money. They framed me. They used my trust, my love for Mom, and my digital fingerprints to cover their tracks. And I had the proof. But now it was time for them to see it. I didn't call ahead. Didn't text. Didn't warn them I was coming. Some things are better said face to face. The drive back to Ashford felt different. Not like going home. More like walking into a courtroom where I already knew the verdict. The house looked the same. Porch lights glowing. A wreath on the door. But inside, everything had changed. I walked in and found them just like I left them, comfortable. Mason on the couch, Deanna curled up next to him. Mom at the sink. Dad reading the paper, like he didn't just exile his daughter 3 days ago. The moment they saw me, silence fell like a curtain. I didn't shout. Didn't accuse. I simply walked to the coffee table and placed the black folder down like a final piece of the puzzle. Then I spoke. You accused me of stealing $50,000 from Mom. Let me show you who really did it. Deanna's eyes widened. Mason's hands clenched. Mom turned, towel in her hands, motionless. I opened the folder. First, the transaction logs. 3 withdrawals. In person. Not online. Not me. Second, the security footage stills. One by one, I slid them across the table. Deanna at the teller window, her face unmistakable even under sunglasses. Mason, joking with the banker like he was withdrawing his own lunch money. And again, Deanna. Same hoodie. Different day. Different disguise. Mom stepped forward slowly. She looked at the photos, then at her son. Her daughter-in-law. Why? She whispered. Why would you do this? Deanna crumbled first. Tears welled in her eyes. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Mason didn't cry. He just shrugged. Because she always gets everything, he said flatly. The job. The praise. The trust. We just wanted to level the playing field. I looked at him. Really looked. This was the brother I used to protect in grade school. The one I gave my birthday money to so he could buy sneakers in 9th grade. And now, he was standing in front of our mother, justifying theft. Not denying it. Not even apologizing. Just, jealous. I turned to my mom. Her hands trembled as she held the printouts. I didn't want to believe it, she said. But we didn't even ask you. We just. You believed what was easy, I said gently. And that hurt more than anything. Dad finally broke his silence. Natalie, what do you want us to do? I looked around the room. At the people who loved me once, or at least said they did. I'm not pressing charges, I said. But I am setting a boundary. They didn't argue. Because they knew. Speech balloon. Now I want to hear from you. If you were in my shoes, would you forgive your family? Or would you walk away for good? Drop a fire in the comments if you believe that truth always wins in the end. And if this story is hitting somewhere deep, go ahead and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes, stories help us feel less alone. But just when I thought it was over, the aftermath brought something I didn't expect. And what happened next changed everything. Section 4, Life After Betrayal. What do you do when the people who hurt you most also helped raise you? Do you heal, or do you harden? Do you forgive, or finally let go? 3 months have passed since that night in my parents' living room. Since I laid the truth bare, one receipt at a time. Since my brother and his wife said nothing to stop me from walking out the front door for good. And while the hurt hasn't vanished, something else grew in its place. Clarity. I don't speak to Mason anymore. I haven't heard from Diana either. Not a text. Not a card. Not a hint of remorse. Mom calls on Sundays. She starts every call with the same words, "I'm sorry." And I know she means it. But sometimes, meaning it isn't enough. Trust, once cracked, doesn't heal like bone. It heals like glass, fragile, visible, and never quite the same. I went back to work. I handled it like a professional. No drama. No long explanations. Just focus. But something inside me had shifted. I didn't want to just catch financial crimes for corporations anymore. I wanted to help real people. So, I started something small, but powerful. A weekend seminar at the local community center. Digital defense, financial safety for seniors. We met in folding chairs in a sunlit room. No suits, no PowerPoint decks, just stories, questions, and simple tools to protect the people most vulnerable to exactly what happened to my mom. One Saturday, an older woman lingered after class. She waited until everyone else had gone. Then she stepped forward, gently touched my arm, and said, "You're the kind of daughter every mom hopes for." And I smiled. But what I didn't say was, "So did mine." Speech balloon. Now I want to hear from you. If you've ever had to rebuild yourself after someone close betrayed your trust, how did you do it? Did you forgive and reconnect? Or did you walk away for your peace? Let's talk in the comments. Because sometimes, your story could be someone else's strength. Glowing star if this story moved you, even just a little. Click the like button, it tells me these stories matter to you. Hit subscribe if you want more stories that speak to the heart. And please, share this with someone who's been through something similar. We don't talk enough about what betrayal does to us. Especially when it comes from the people who were supposed to protect us. And if you're still watching right now, I want to thank you. Because this wasn't just my story. It's a story about family. About what happens when love is tested. And what it takes to rise after the fall. What would you have done if you were me? Would you have stayed and tried to forgive? Or drawn a line and stepped into the light alone? Comment below. Because sometimes, the comment section becomes the safest place we have. Thank you for staying with me through this journey. Some stories hurt, not because they're dramatic, but because they're true. If this one touched your heart, know you're not alone. Healing after betrayal takes time, strength, and sometimes, letting go. If you found meaning here, please give this video a like and subscribe to NA Family Story for more heartfelt stories that speak to the soul. And don't forget to check out our other videos, because every day, someone's story might just become the one you needed to hear. Until next time, take care of your heart, and each other.